Hey everyone, it's me, Stephanie Nietzsche, and today I have memoir author William Murray. Hi, Will, how are you?
Good morning. I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I think you're okay too. I'm glad that we finally got to talk because I know we tried this once before and it didn't work out, and you were in the middle of telling me a fascinating story. So let's just start from scratch. You are an author and you have a wilderness background behind you, and you also have a couple of stories to share. So why don't you kick it off and let everybody introduce yourself to everybody, let everybody know what you're writing, how it started.
Well, I'm William Will Murray is my pen name, and I've had an enormously adventurous life, probably 10 lifetimes in one. Here a few years ago, a horse fell on me, and while I was laid up, I wrote my first book, Worn Out Saddles and Boot Leather. I'm now on my fourth book. My drive here is to bring my life to everyone. Life, as far as I know, we live one time.
Right.
We need to get out and live it. If you have a dream, live it. If you're scared of it, go anyway.
Right. And I think it's great to get out from behind the computer, away from the cell phone, and see what's out there in the real world, right? Like the wilderness.
But you
Aren't
can't,
you?
some folks have to experience the world by books. And that's really important that if we have a story, we should write it. And by the way, everybody has a story. But the majority of folks could get out and experience something. There's always something holding us back. If
Right.
it's fear, go out and do it anyway.
And sometimes people may live in the city, so they don't have access to wilderness like you do with horses and cattle and the great outdoors. So that's where they can get that from reading books like yours, correct?
Absolutely. And I do some reading myself, and I enjoy reading books written by authors that they're not from the countryside. They don't know anything about cattle or horses or wilderness. And I think it makes me more well rounded, and it helps me to write even better.
Right. Now tell us what happened. What started your author journey?
I think it was 2021. I was starting a young horse, which I still do, and she fell on me.
Mm,
And it was a long day. It was a long year. I was laid up a long time, and my wife um, had me cornered in bed, and she said, "You might as well start writing because you need to bring those stories to everybody." And I thought about it, and I wrote my first book, Worn Out Saddles and Boot Leather. I wrote it in about a 2 week period. After my shoulder surgery, I was on pain pills, and that book has never been seen and it never will be.
oh,
A month later, when I wasn't on any more pain pills, I wrote it again, and that's the one that's out for everybody to read now.
now
Uh,
how long?
Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, that book, once I started the rewrite, I think I wrote the basic book in about 6 weeks.
That's what I
All
was
of
going
my,
to ask you. I was
I'm
going
on
to
my
ask you how
fourth,
long it took to write that book.
I'm on my fourth book now, but I believe it's because they're true stories and I lived them. That once those stories start coming out, uh, they just flow. Maybe a chapter a day.
Right, right. So how spaced out are your four novels? Like once you finish one, do you immediately get into another novel, or do you wait a little bit?
Each one has taken a little longer than the original because I won't write, especially a book, until I have an idea in my head how to bring it from A to Z, and that people will enjoy it. I'm writing for a couple of magazines now, and some poetry. I busy myself there, but books are my great love. However, you can't rush into it. And I don't even know how to write fiction. If you read any of my books, you'll think they're fiction. But I've had such an outrageous life that I don't know how to write fiction at all.
Right. Well, sometimes they say truth is stranger than fiction. So,
Yes, and I can't tell those stories here.
so, so we can definitely say the real life stories that you share. Some people are going to find them amazing. Some of the things that have happened over the years.
Hard to believe. It's hard to believe. I wake up in the night sometimes and I'll remember something from 50 years ago, and I was there. It actually happened that way, and
Right. And when you work with animals, they're unpredictable,
yes,
correct?
yes, absolutely. I love animals. I've trained a lot of great dogs, or they've trained me. Same with horses. My motto is firm but fair. But you got to know in the back of your head, they're not talking. Something can happen.
Right, right, definitely. Did you ever think that you would write a book?
No, no, I didn't, because I didn't recognize the extraordinary life I've had until I was laid up in bed with this big apparatus on my shoulder and unable to move. Um, I didn't realize the life I have lived. And as I've told my wife many times, I'm on my fourth book now. Can you imagine the stories I won't write?
That's right. Look at that. Yeah. I mean, it's been years of living, you know, with animals on a ranch. Is that correct? Am I
I was born and raised on a ranch, and the measure of a man on that ranch was bronc riding, uh, hunting, and maybe some moonshine. Uh,
ah,
and I survived that. And then I went on to rodeo, cutting horses, cow calf operations, wilderness guide. And along the way, I spent 20 some years as a general engineering contractor and another 20 some years as a director or chief engineer for resorts. So I can't, there are a lot of stories. Unfortunately, there are a lot of them that won't be told.
yeah. Well, that's understandable. But you
I
have
have to, I have to protect the innocent,
it. Is that people or animals?
or
Or a
both.
little bit of both? Probably a little bit of both, right?
Even in the horses, life changes. They're getting a little quicker than I am, and I've always, before I get on a young horse that's never been ridden, I always pray a little bit, and now I wait till I swing my leg over that horse, and I pray for my maker to put his coffee down, because
Ah,
because I would need help right now.
so
So
your stories, while they're true, they're just like I think I mentioned this last time too. They remind me of like the show Yellowstone, because there was a lot. I know they had in Yellowstone, there was, the character stories. It was all fictional, but there were some real life things, like some cowboys breaking horses in. Is that the correct term?
I
When a
hate
horse
the
has never
word
been ridden.
breaking. Anybody that's still breaking horses is just flat doing it wrong. Uh, every day you step into the horse corral, you take what that horse gives you and build on that. Firm but fair.
So, what would you look for if you were approaching a horse for the first time? What would you look for that would tell you, hey, I got, this horse needs a little bit more TLC than the other ones, and I have to, be a little bit more careful with this horse? What are like some of the signs?
Well, you're looking for body English. Are they looking at you? Do they look away? Do they present their butt towards you or their face? Do they quit eating and walk away? Do they keep eating? Do they come to you? Reading a horse is probably it's a real art. And the only times I've been injured with horses where I just misread them.
Right, right. And when someone goes to, let's say, a stable that offers horse rides, now I don't know how they judge or offer each person the horse they're going to ride. So if a person is in one of those stables and pays for a ride, those are the things that they should look for. I'm sure the people at the ranch are going to look for that too, but the way the horse reacts to the person that maybe is about to mount them, because don't horses also have senses about people and maybe they don't vibe with everyone, just like people don't vibe with certain people and dogs don't vibe with certain people or other dogs. It's the same with horses and people.
Well, horses have an extra sense that I don't believe we totally understand.
Oh,
If a
wow.
horse doesn't like somebody, I wouldn't go out to coffee with them. But my advice to people that go to horse stables to ride or go get a lesson to learn to ride, which is even better probably, is to check out the reviews before you go, before you book it. Find out who they're doing business with. Are they doing good business? Have they had a
Right.
lot of injuries? And then there's nothing wrong with wearing a helmet.
I've seen that. I've seen riding helmets. Yep. Especially in the competitions, the horse shows, I definitely see everyone's wearing a helmet. They're wearing the boots, the horse boots. I rode a pony. The first time I ever rode a pony, I don't remember how old I was, but I was young. But I do remember we were told, and I never forgot this, to not pull back tightly on the reins because I don't know if it's the same now, but there was a metal, like something there that hit the
Mm-hmm.
horse's gums and could irritate, like if we pulled the reins too much or jerked them back and forth, right? So
Well,
that's something,
it's called a bit,
a
and
bit.
it does hurt their mouth, especially misused. And if you're new at riding horses, you're going to pull on it too much, and horses don't like that. It hurts them.
Right,
Bits and reins are used for cues. They're not for pulling.
right.
All the years I guided people into the wilderness by horseback, I didn't have a bit in a mouth. They rode with just a halter and a rope tied to the halter. I did
Ah,
not allow any of my customers to have anything in the horse's mouth, and we never, 10 years, had an accident.
so now that's wonderful. So now you had a, I guess it was a business where you would guide people into the wilderness?
Yes, it was called Murray Outfitters. I think actually had a meager beginning in 1998, and we went 10 years.
Wow.
And I had a string of 6 horses. And as a guide, you try to match people with the right horse. However, I, I only had 6 horses, and they were gentle. Interestingly, though, is where I got those horses.
Okay.
Most of those horses were given to me because nobody could ride them. They were bucking everybody off. I
Wow.
got my hands on them. I gave them a job. I treated them firm but fair. Gave them a job. Maybe their first year, all they did was carry pack saddles. And within a year, they were carrying anybody and everything. Horses are a wonderful critter, but if you're not a decent person, they'll let you know.
Right. Well, I think that's good because sometimes people mistreat animals and sometimes the animals can't do anything to protect themselves. But horses are big, amazing creatures, and I guess they're not going to take any guff, and that's good.
Well, I call it bottom line. I've got a really nice mare that I started years ago, and she's got a big engine, but you have to ask for it. And if she's not happy with you, she lets me know, but that's as far as she'll go. Some horses that have been abused, they don't have that stop. They'll buck you off, or they'll roll on you, or they'll flip over backward on you. I've seen it all happen.
Wow.
And
Now,
dogs are the same. By virtue of size is the only difference.
right, right. Well,
You know,
horse,
you take you take what they give you and capture their imagination. Horses love to have something to do, But like most of us, they don't want to be told what to do.
Right.
I teach and start all my horses with spurs on. But spurs are a cue. They are not for getting after that horse.
Mm.
Spurs are typically, unless you're a pretty good cowboy, most people don't use them correctly, and so the horse becomes dead to the spur. Uh, you know, I've got a young horse I just finished. She's scared of the wind blowing through the trees. So whenever I go past the tree and her head comes up, she starts to think about the tree, not me. So
Ah.
I roll my spur up and down her side a little bit, not hurting her. And I just tell her, you know, you better be thinking about me. And the head comes back down. And, you know, it's uh, great. I was really fortunate in my life. I think there were a half a dozen cowboys. The first one was on the Irvine Ranch back in about 66. Uh, that's all they did. And they knew horses and they were firm but fair.
So now tell us a little bit about your first book. Now, the title again is
Which book?
the first book, the first
Oh,
published book, not the first book that you wrote that you didn't publish, but the first published book. What's
yeah. Worn out saddles and boot leather. It's chapter after chapter of the best memories I have of guiding people into the wilderness by horseback. It's all about the horses. It's all about my clients. It's all about the wilderness. It's all about the wild things that try to eat us or bite us or that we love to see, like the baby fox that used to come into camp, steal my pastries, sit on my chest, and eat them in the middle of the night.
oh
And
my
let me tell you something, those buttercream pastries, you don't take one from me.
God. You put up a fight.
Yeah, every night this little baby fox would get up on the table, get one, and sit on my chest while he ate it.
Wow.
I thought he had enough nerve. I just let it go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Sometimes you just gotta say, ah, what the heck,
And then
why
there
not?
was the night I woke up and something was towing our big igloo ice chest out of camp. A bear had a hold of the handle, was pulling it out of camp. Smart. He was going to get in that ice chest and eat the food. Underneath my head, I had a Big Ben alarm clock. So I grabbed it, threw it. It hit the bear and went off. And I
Oh,
think I tell people I sat there for 5 minutes. I could still hear that bear running.
wow. Look at
And
these.
mountain lions, I had lions take food right off the horses. Just our trips had a lot of adventure.
Right, right. I'm sure. So
As
now,
an, as an example, I took a group of people into a deep canyon one afternoon, and the sun was going down, and we couldn't go the long way around the safe way. So I had to take them back up a canyon that was very steep. So I just told them to get off their horse, and as the horse goes by, grab the tail, and the horse will take you to the top of the canyon.
oh wow,
Their eyes got pretty big, but that was commonplace.
wow. I never heard that before. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
their eyes got pretty big.
There, mu- there must be a lot of things that people do not know when about horses and about animals in general, and just about being outside in the wilderness that they can learn in your books. Because I never would have thought to grab a horse's tail for anything. Like that would have never even crossed my mind.
Well,
So that's interesting.
some country is too steep to walk, and you get in a jam or you have an
Right.
emergency, the horse will go up, and they will not kick you. You grab the tail and go with them.
Wow, that's super interesting. Now, are all four of your books about your experiences as a wilderness guide?
The first one is. The second one is called On the Scent: A Lifetime with Dogs in the Field. It chronicles my 65 years of training stock dogs and gun dogs. Basically, I talk about how I've been trained for 65 years, and according to my wife, I'm still not fully hatched.
Well, let me ask you this. For people that do not know, because I don't know, I don't know what a stock dog is, and I do not know what a gun dog is. Could you just explain those?
Stock dogs are used to move sheep or cattle, and in some cases horses. Normally sheep or cattle. We ran both on the ranch I was born on, and I had one particular great stock dog there. And then the gun dog, that's a dog you take hunting for pheasant or grouse or
Mm,
waterfowl. And back then, today people rely on gadgets. They,
right.
you look at a gun dog in the field, he'll have one, two, or three collars on, one to locate him, another one to discipline him. It's, I don't want to say it's ridiculous, but 50 years ago, those dogs were trained in a natural sense, and they were better dogs.
Now you trained your dogs personally yourself,
Oh
or
yeah.
did, and is there like a specific kind of breed that is recommended to be a stock dog and to be a gun dog?
Well, there are several kinds of stock dogs. Border Collie is one that comes to mind. Catahoula. There are several kinds of dogs and a lot of different kinds of gun dogs. But we'll break it down. In gun dog, you have retrievers for water work mostly, and then you have pointers and flushers for field work. Uh, but I like to say now, one of my best friends over the years has always had a great hunting dog. You know, he gets them from a shelter. He doesn't even know what they are, and he teaches them to do the same thing that a high-priced purebred dog does.
Wow, dogs are so smart. And I guess
Well,
if you give them the
they, if you allow them to be all they can be, which means firm but fair, more fair than firm,
hmm,
you would be surprised what a dog can bring to the plate.
wow. I have a dog. So is there is there anything like a simple, like something simple you could tell me? I don't even know what I'm asking, but just like a simple tip, because I have read that dogs want to learn and they want to be maybe purposeful or useful, right? Like my dog's a pup. Well, I mean, now she's two. I don't know if she's still considered a puppy, but she has a lot of energy and I think she wants to do things, but sometimes I just don't know what she wants to do. So is there something that I can like teach her or something that would make her feel, good, like some kind of task or just something simple?
Well, I think you are reading your dog, and your intuition is correct there. Uh, Depends on the breed. If that dog was a border collie, you'd have to be out running several miles a day with it. But both of you need to exercise, so a walk is good. And then a lot of dogs like to retrieve, some don't. Some will help you make the bed, some won't.
Help you
Read
make the bed?
read your dog and see what she wants to do. And then when that dog sees that you're following her, then you can really get started training her. But that
Wow.
training goes both ways. Dogs are not in our home for our pleasure. It's a two-way street.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I believe that. Dogs are fabulous companions. So
Oh
now
yeah.
tell me about your third book.
The, the third book probably will make me famous. It's called Rode Hard and Never Put Up, An Untamed Life. And it chronicles my life from when I was 8 years old until yesterday. Uh, the stories you didn't get in the other books, phenomenal stories. My younger years on a ranch. I grew up on a tough ranch. Um, let's just say it was dysfunctional with violence was the way everything was done. And I don't know why I was born knowing that was wrong, but I was at odds with that my whole younger years. So it chronicles all of that. And then it goes into my rodeo career, a slight touch here and there on dating. It seems I had horses when I was young, and the ladies like horses, but that was all. And then I went on to logging, guiding, ballroom dancing. It's a phenomenal book.
Wow, it sounds
Phenomenal stories. One thing you'll find when you read my books is that I laugh at myself. I think it's most people won't tell on themselves, but I've done some things that are just simply hilarious. They had to be told. One story in An Untamed Life is a cow. I was asleep one morning in the ranch house, and a cow came. It snowed during the night. She came all the way to the ranch, a half mile, to break the fence down and get me out of that house. And all I had time for was a robe and slippers. Don't ask me if there was more. Robe and slippers. So when I tried to follow her through the barbed wire, she knocked me down and I lost the back of the robe. I wasn't too worried about that, except for the cold. There wasn't anybody there.
right.
So I followed that cow all the way to the top of the mountain, and she had two calves laying in the snow. Neither one of them were breathing.
Oh no.
So I knelt down and I got them going. It took me a while. By golly, I got them going, and I got them up and nursing. I had to breathe for one for a while, but I got them nursing. I'm standing up. Now I'm not paying attention that on the other side of the fence is the state highway, and there are cars parked there. They're watching. I don't know if they're watching the cow or the back of my robe. Well, I get the calves are up. They're nursing this cow. She turns to look at me, and I just for a split second, I noticed that loving look was gone. And then she drove me through that barbed wire fence, because now the calves are okay. I don't need you. You're a threat.
Wow.
She knocked me through that fence. Now, unfortunately, I kept my slippers, but I have to say, when I arrived on the traffic side of the fence, I did so without my robe. I had to get it out of the barbed wire, wrap it around me, and walk clear around to the ranch road.
What a wild.
It's a great story, because how did that cow know to get me?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. That was her instinct to go, and she needed help.
I've had that happen a lot of times.
That's
The
incredible.
horses, when the horses get a whiff of a bear or a lion, where do they go? Me.
To you, yeah.
And what's interesting is I don't carry a rifle. I never go armed. But if somebody else has a rifle, that's where they go, because those horses know that guy can help.
So how do horses, like if a horse came to you, they wanted you to know there was danger or something, near the stable that shouldn't be, like what would their look be? Or would they make a noise, or would they do something with their head? Like what gesture would sound? Like how would you know what it was exactly?
Their nostrils are huge, and they're sucking air in. Their eyes are huge, and they got a wild look, and you got to go with them.
Wow.
They're not taking no for an answer.
Animals are incredible.
It's interesting because I think a lot of critters don't learn more than they need to. But in that way, they actually know life better than we do. We learn, we think we have to know everything. We cloud the prettiest things with a lot of junk.
Right. Yeah, a lot of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're about the basics: survival, food.
Yes. That's why it's phenomenal if a cow or a pig, any critter, turns to you. You need to pay attention to that. That's more important than your friend across the street.
Right. That's so meaningful. I could definitely see that. It's like an honor.
It's a pure.
It's like an honor.
Yeah, it's a pure sense of urgency, and that cow that morning, I had to really work on those calves to save them, and she just stood there.
And she watched.
She was okay with everything till they were nursing, and obviously I had served my purpose.
Right. Oh, how funny. Did you know she was going to do that, or did it just happen and then your instinct was to get the heck out of there?
Well, I didn't have any instinct. She turned, I saw that look, and she put me between two pieces of barbed wire about 18 inches apart, and I just bent and went through them with her head, and that's why my robe stayed on the
On the
fence.
barbed wire.
And
Wow.
somewhere in San Luis Obispo, California, there may be some people that are still in shock.
It's probably a story that they still tell to this day,
Yeah.
right? And people probably say, is that a true story or is that made? You know how stories change as time goes on? Who knows what people have added to that story since then? But that is a fascinating and funny story. Thanks for
So
sharing. That is,
So the fourth book is, I've been making notes for a long time, and I've owned 17 horses, or they own me. And I'm gonna, and then I had an article I wanted to write. So you want to be a guide outfitter, telling people what it's really like. And then I thought, well, let's put it all together. But nowhere in my stories did I take the liberty to say how I really felt. How the client that never smiled, I couldn't wait to get him back to the resort. How a week without deodorant, or a broken toothbrush, or not enough dew on the ground to wash my face finally got to me. So the fourth book is going to be a lot of humor. And you're going to see that in all the books, especially in Untamed Life. Hope. I never lost hope along the way. There's a
mm,
chapter in there about how I lost everything and had to rebuild, including physically. And what you'll get from that is I did not lose hope.
right. You know, your adventures and everything that you're telling me could be a series. I mean, they couldn't even put it in a movie because it's just too much stuff, but I guess they could make a movie out of it. But it sounds like it would make a great series. And everyone loves those kind of series on the ranch. You know what I mean? With the animals and
Yeah, it's real and it's wholesome. I remember one morning I lost a cow, and because I lost the cow, she died in a heavy snowstorm. I lost the calf. And I got back to the ranch. I was not happy.
I
It
bet.
kind of knocked me down, and I went up to my bedroom, and I heard meow, meow. Now I had a prize Stetson hat that nobody touched,
Oh no.
but the house cat, the ranch cat, had her kittens in my hat. But it made my whole day, because here I'd lost this cow and calf. Then I get home, and she picked my hat, and she had a bunch of kitties in there, and it really gave me hope.
Yeah, she chose your hat, your prize hat.
Yeah, and life is not easy, especially on a ranch. I think it was about a month later that I was sitting on the back patio having a cup of coffee, and a lion got them all, got every one of them.
A lion?
Mountain lion. He got right up on the porch and grabbed that cat and her kittens and
Oh
was
my,
gone.
oh
So you
my,
have, there's a reality to living it out uh, on the outskirts, but you just can't lose hope. I think you
no.
see that in all of my books. You cannot lose hope.
That's a tough life, right? Well, maybe if you're brought up into it and you're born into it, it's not as tough, but it doesn't seem as tough. But to me, on the outside looking in, that's a tough life. And as a mom, with sons, that would be a tough life for them
Yeah, what
because
would you
they
say
weren't
if
brought up
your
that way.
boys came to you tomorrow and they decided they want to be a bull rider?
Well, I'm sorry. What if they asked me?
What if they wanted to ride bulls for a living?
I would say I believe in whatever someone wants to do, they should do. So
Yes,
I
I
would.
believe that too, but you can't tell me you wouldn't swallow a little hard.
I would definitely. But you know what? I know they wouldn't ask me. I know that. I know they wouldn't, only because they're city, originally city kids and now we're on Long Island. But it's just not something that they've, you know what I mean? But yeah, I would definitely, I
Well,
mean,
you
of
know,
course I'd be worried, but I wouldn't want to stop them. I think there's so much we get out of life when things are tough and things are rough. They make us the people that we are. And when you had a life like you did growing up on the ranch with the animals, the early wake ups, I mean, you have to get up, right? And you have to feed those animals no matter how you feel, right? You have to go tend to the horses in the stable, right? It's not easy. You can't put yourself first. The
you know,
animals have to
I
come
have
first.
to tell you, you reminded me of long ago. I got a call at 3 a.m. It was about 15 below zero from a ranch 40 miles away, and he says, "We just got home, and I swear I saw one of your red cows." So I
Oh,
had to get a horse
wow.
and ride. It was so cold.
Yeah, but you have to do it, right? You can't
Well,
you can't choose comfort over
we can think
anything.
that it's tough, but I've had a huge life. I
Yes.
don't ever wonder who I am or what I can do. I don't know what all I can do. A couple weeks ago, I'm 74, and I climbed San Antonio Mountain here in New Mexico by myself. Went to 11,000 feet and back in the same day. You, I think a lot of what I know is that you don't know. Go
Right.
give it a go. Give it a go. If it scares you, get
Right.
right after it.
Try it. Right.
Get out and live. But also, there's no reason for violence and mayhem. You can live a great adventurous life, and you're not hurting anybody. That's
Right.
really important.
That's exactly what it is. You've led some adventurous life, that's for sure. And
So
you've learned so much from the land and from the animals. It's really amazing. It's an experience that a lot of people do not get because they do not live in that kind of area, and they wouldn't even know how much maybe how fulfilling it would be for them as an individual because they've never tried it or it's not in their surroundings. You know what I mean? They weren't exposed to it and they may really like it.
well, I think too that in a basic way, I used to watch over our first calf heifers, and once in a while I had to pull a calf, and once in a while I lost one. Most of the time I saved them. You can't do that and want to hurt anybody. You get a
No.
big understanding of life and how quick it can be gone, how quickly there's no answer to it. The only answer you can carry from day to day is hope. Now, I did promise to tell you one story. If we have time, I'll tell it quickly.
Yes.
When we were talking before, back in 1993, 92, 93, I stopped in a bank in Woodcrest, California, and I was standing in front of the teller handing her my check. A guy comes in, he has a jumpsuit on, he shoved me out of the way, and he pulls the gun and puts it in her face.
Wow.
Now, I can stand a lot of things, but I don't like gunplay. But he had the hammer back, and had I hit him then, he'd have pulled the trigger. So he robbed the bank, and then when he went to go out of the bank, I chased him out of that bank. I was going to take the gun away from him. He got through the door, and then there was a customer coming through the door the other way, trying to come in, and that person, let's just say I couldn't get around that person. I had to let that person come through the door.
I got you. Yeah.
And then I ran into the parking lot, and only then did I know there were 3 more robbers, and they were heavily armed.
Oh, wow.
So I chased them. I think I got the license plate. We were doing about 130 miles an hour. I had an old Ma Bell phone before cell phones. I called it in, their license plate. And then an FBI guy came on the phone. He says, you need to come back to the bank. He says, there's no problem, but you ran out with them.
Like
So
you
I
were.
went back to the bank and I told him what happened. He said, I don't suppose I could encourage you not to do that sort of thing. I said, no. And I believe that law enforcement's up to all of us. Our poor policemen, all they can do is react. We
Right.
need to watch out for each other. And I just don't go for violence or gunplay. And so I asked the bank manager, I said, will you cash my check? He said, I can't cash it the day of a robbery. And the FBI guy said, yes, you can. You cash that man's check.
Wow, look at
But
that.
that's a little insight to me. Uh, I've been in a lot of those deals uh, where I instinctively know what to do, and I think we could use a dose of that across the country.
I think so too. I definitely agree. You have so many amazing stories to share and to tell. And I mean, I really feel like these should be on television. So I hope someone hears this, and because it would be a fabulous series and a
Well,
true stories, a true actual stories that you lived.
they're I was thinking about it again last night. They're true stories, and I
Yes.
didn't think about it at the time because of the way I was raised. I was
Right.
raised in a pretty violent situation where whiskey and gunplay, none of that meant anything. I saw a movie when I was a little kid called The Tall Men with Clark Gable and Jane Russell. And it has so many great morals in it, great things to say that I have to say that changed me that day. I never forgot it and never went back. And I parted company with the way my folks thought right there.
That's
However, in all of my writing, and I'll say it today, I love my folks to death. And I'll tell you why. If they hadn't gotten together with a couple glasses of wine, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have had a great life. And I love them for that.
that's beautiful. And it's in its own way. You know what I mean? Through the
Well,
hardship. Through the hardship.
I don't know anybody that gets up in the morning and predetermines to be a bad person. I think we all have little ups and downs. Some do better than others. Some parents do better than others. But there makes no sense at all to blame another person.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
But it was a more simple life. If we had trouble with the back neighbor, we met at the fence, and
Mm,
it got settled. Uh, they're just we just didn't have the crime. People were more. They stood up for themselves. They were, people were tougher, and
right.
and I believe that simple life is a lot happier.
I think so too. I think so too. And funner. Kids used to play in the street. They don't do that anymore. And
Yeah.
that's how you made friends. And that's how you learn things. And that's how you learn to stand up for yourself because you're in the street and you're with other kids. And you learn a lot from being outside. And I know
Well,
you're outside in the great outdoors, but even outside in the city, the kids that play on the street, they learn a lot too. It's good to be outside and away from the laptop, away from the cell phone. And while technology is great, that too has its pros and its cons.
I came from a farm, a ranch, and when we went to school, we did so on a school bus,
Yeah.
and I was not prepared for that. Uh, for kids that came from the city, it was
Mm,
really, really tough for
I
me to socialize. But once I got going, I don't know that I've ever really met a bad person.
right.
Everyone I've ever known has good in them. I don't know how much good. I've fought some fires. I've done some things in my life where I had to pull people together, and I can tell you that it's seldom the trained person. It's just somebody that's willing, and everybody has good in them. I really believe that.
That's wonderful. I don't know if I could say the same. I don't know if I feel that way about some people, but 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 who knows? Maybe you're right. I would like to believe that everybody has some good in them. So I'll
Yes,
I'll leave it at that. Everybody has some good in
including the little filly I'm going to ride later today.
them. Well,
I
you
hope she's listening.
have a wonderful time on that, Philly, and let us know, Will, where are your books available? Because your stories are fabulous and they're real life, and people should really read them. Where can they find them?
Well, the Worn Out Saddles and Boot Leather is published by McFarland Publishing. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Everywhere you look on the internet, that book is available in all your local bookstores. Uh, on the Scent, the dog book, is being published by McFarland Publishing, and it'll go the same route: Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's out for pre-sale right now. And then the Untamed Life book, which I think is going to make us all famous. They It's being published by Casa Uraca Press here in New Mexico, and it'll be available next spring. No, February 1st. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, uh, and in your local bookstore. You can always order that book. It's always good to try to buy from your local bookstore, unless you need to use Barnes and Noble or an Amazon.
Right.
They're all great companies. I have a real affection for the small bookstores.
Yes, me too. I definitely do too. And we need those small bookstores in our
Yes,
towns. And yeah, we
and your
definitely.
community libraries. When I was a kid, my mom defied my father and took me to the library once a week, and I got books, and I discovered life beyond that ranch, and it really, really saved me.
Right. Well, congratulations on the adventurous life that you've led. And you're still going on adventures as you write these books, and the thoughts that you have for the one book that you say you think is going to really, you know, hit, right? The third, is it the third book?
Well, the third book is gonna Untamed Life. I really told the stories there. Unbelievable stories, and they're true. The fourth book is going to be real insight into me, uh, growing old in America. Um, you know, I know that I can't rope the wind anymore, but
Mm,
I don't want somebody else to tell me.
right,
So that fourth book will be really interesting. Inside look.
right. Well, congratulations on all your work and all your fabulous stories. And I want to say thank you again for joining me today. I know the first time we had some computer issues. It took a long time, but we
Yeah.
finally were able
Well,
to do this again.
you're absolutely wonderful. I get a feel for people, and you know, I hope we meet someday. But if we do, we'll have to have time to talk. You're just a wonderful person,
Oh
and
my
that certainly comes across today.
Oh my God, I'm so flattered. Thank you so much. That was so nice of you to say. Thank you. You've
I know
just made you've just
you just can't hide it.
you've just made my day.
Great,
And
great. I'll mention to my wife there's something good about me.
well, thank you again. And if we ever do meet in the future, I think that would be fabulous. And I know you'll be able to even share more stories that maybe you cannot share here. And plus, we don't have the time. But I would love to hear more stories. So yeah, you never know. You just never know.
Yeah,
And
we'll make it happen sometime.
I would love
Thank you
that.
so much, Stephanie.
And thank you. Thank you. And have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?
You too.
All right.
All right.
Take care
Bye bye.
now. Bye.